Okay, hello. Welcome. This is the first video in a playlist of videos that should constitute an introduction to symbolic logic, as you would be given it in a university course. So I'm Ian MacLean-Evans. Right now I am an instructor at Carleton University. I'm also a PhD student at York University in Canada. And yeah, so I had to teach, or I got the opportunity, I should say, to teach a logic course at Carleton University, and I figured, oh, well, it uses a software and a textbook that are both totally online, they're totally free, they're interactive, anyone can use them. So I figured, oh, I'll turn my university lectures into a free public course on symbolic logic as a free introduction to symbolic logic. So that's what you're watching right now. This is the first video in the playlist that does that takes my lectures and lets you watch them and use them to learn symbolic logic. But I figured, yes, so I should make this video so that you can understand how to use those lectures and the available software. Okay, so first things first, if you're a student enrolled in one of my university courses, stop watching this now. There's going to be some resources on the course website that are specifically for our course. They tell you about how things are going to be evaluated and all that. So please stop watching this and turn to the resources on our course website and do whatever it is I tell you to do as part of the course. So please note that. But this video is just for people in the public interested in learning symbolic logic and learning how to use my lecture videos and the textbook and web program, web software that I use to teach symbolic logic. So what the course provides? Well, the course, as you'll be consuming it, is a series of lectures on each chapter of the Carnap Book, which is a really fantastic free textbook online. The link is carnap.io, carnap.io. The link should be in the description to this video. And it's a fantastic resource. It's made by Graham Leach-Krauss and Jake Ehrlich. Sorry if I mispronounced those names, but there you go. So we're going to be following the textbook, and you can do the problems in the textbook chapters, and they'll even tell you, the textbook itself will tell you when you've gotten things right. So these are all recordings of the same recordings that I give to my actual university students, their university lectures. So nothing that's like flashy and like made for YouTube, but is enough, I think, to learn the content. And so you'll be pointed throughout to different auto-evaluated exercises. Those will be the problem sets that are in each chapter of the Carnap book. And I'll also link you to some practice documents in the description of each video that I let my students use, and which I sometimes use to provide extra examples for how to do stuff as you learn it. And the practice exercises come from documents that others have left up publicly on the Carnap website that other instructors have made for their own uses, and I always credit the original authors. Okay. So that's like the broadest overview of what the course will provide. But you should know, as someone watching this in the public, that there's going to be some stuff that this course will not have. So if you take this course, you're not registered in a university course that I'm instructing. If you watch all the videos, you make use of them and all that, you're not going to be able to ask me questions, of course, or attend any of the live sessions that I sometimes mention in the videos. Because, of course, you're not registered in one of my courses, and that's just how it will be. And obviously you're not going to get any midterms or final exams that help you evaluate how much you've actually learned or anything. And you won't have access to the practice exams that I give my students, which I also think I mention in the videos sometimes. And of course, finally, you're not going to get a grade. You're not going to get any feedback from myself or any TAs. And you won't get any like written confirmation that you've successfully done everything in the course, right? Like you're not going to get a course pass diploma or something like that. So really this is just if you're like interested yourself in learning how to do symbolic logic. Okay. So how are you going to use the course? Well, you're going to use the lecture videos, of course, in this playlist. But first you're going to want to make a Carnap account. because eventually you're going to need to be able to save what are called derived rules to your Carnap account. If you're going to want to be able to use them the way that I talk about them in the videos, you're going to have to be able to save them to your account. And for that, of course, you need a Carnap account. So first, what you're going to do, and then I'll show you how to do this in a video in a minute. First thing you're going to do is go to carnap.io. And then in the top right of the page, you're going to see a login button. You're going to hit that. And then you're going to have to log in via Google. That's what it'll say at the top of the page once you've clicked the login button. Unfortunately, you need a Google account to be able to use the software. You can use your personal Gmail account or whatever Google account you want. You can make up a new one if you want. That's fine. And you're going to have to enter some information for your name. It can be your real name if you want. It can be a fun fake name. It can just be, you can just call yourself Carnap student, whatever you want. So I'll quickly show you how to just do that. It's pretty simple, and then we'll come back to how I suggest making use of the lecture videos and doing a sort of course. All right, so you can see I've opened a new Chrome tab. You could use whatever browser you want, of course. And then I've gone to carnap.io. You can see up there, that will bring you to the Carnap homepage. So to make a Carnap account, like I said, you'll just go up to the top right over here. You can see you'll hit login, and then it will tell you to log in via Google. You'll click that, and then you'll just either create a new Google account down here or just log into one that you already have, whatever. And yeah. And then you'll see I entered in some Google stuff for this testing account I have. And now I have a Carnap account. It's all great. I'm logged in. You can see I just put in names like testing student, like that's fine or whatever. And there you go. You're good to go. That's all it takes to make an account. So that's all you need to get started, really, is to just make that Carnap account. You won't really enroll in any course, probably, because then you might get assigned some sort of document that some other instructor gave to their students in their actual course, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to have assignments that are not from the textbook. You just want to do the problems in the textbook. And I explained to you in the first video how to do all that, how to use the problem sets in the textbook, so don't, worry about that. Of course, you won't actually be able to submit the work in the textbook like my students will be able to, because you won't actually be enrolled in my class. You won't actually have them as assignments, but you can still do them, and the textbook will still tell you when they're right or wrong. Yeah. So with your Carnap account made, you're now prepared to start watching the lectures in the playlist, which you're probably already in. But if you found this video in a different way, you can find the playlist on this channel. So there you go. Yeah, so there's a lecture on each chapter in the Carnap book. Sometimes a video will be on 2 chapters. And then way at the end of the series of lectures of the playlist, I have a video about how all this can be related to philosophy in a general sense. So you may find that interesting too. Oh yeah, and a note on the videos. Ignore it in the videos when I call a video lesson whatever number it is. What's important is just that they're on a given chapter and that you watch them in the order of those chapters. I may have called them lesson something, lesson 5, lesson 7, lesson 2, whatever, depending on how I structured a course in a given semester. So yeah, just ignore that. Just follow the order of the chapters. Okay, so how do you make use of the videos while you watch? Well, you watch the video lecture on a chapter in principle. You'll want to go to the chapter that the textbook, or the chapter of the textbook that the lecture is on. I link to that chapter or the couple of chapters in the description to the video. So again, you'll be able to find it, under the video on YouTube. And I also generally link to problem set exercises in the textbook. And when I say I link to them, I actually just link to the chapter, because the problem set exercises are in the chapter. So you'll want to read through the chapter, do the problem set after you watch the video, and keep doing it until you get it right. And then in most lectures, I also link to extra practice problems. Again, those links are given in the description of the video. I generally use them, in the lecture to give examples of whatever I'm explaining. And yeah, my students will have links to those on their course website, their Brightspace page. But if you're just watching in the public, you can just link to those practice problems in the description of the video. Yeah, so again, like you can't ask me questions, but the problem sets and the practice questions will all tell you when you've correctly completed work. So you can keep trying until the system confirms that you got things right. You can go back and rewatch lectures as you need to, and you can just keep going until you get it. The system will tell you when you've got it. Eventually, you're going to make use of what we call derived rules, which is, again, the reason that you have a Carnap account made, because you have to save them to your account to use them. I explain how to do that in the videos once we get there, but again, that's why you needed an account. And yeah, so unless you're enrolled in a course, as I mentioned, you can't actually submit answers. So you should be aware then that the system won't keep track of your progress. It won't keep track of what work you've completed, what work you haven't completed. It'll just tell you when you're working on it, whether it's right or not. So if you want to keep track of what work you've completed as you go through the course for your own learning purposes, you're going to have to do that separately. You do a problem, the system tells you got it right. You can kind of keep track of the fact that you've got that question right, and that will let you keep track of how much work you've completed, of course, as the course progresses or as you watch more and more of the lectures. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think it's fairly simple. You're ready to start your logic adventures using the Carnap.io textbook and software. It can become really fun as you get the hang of it. It becomes like a sort of online game, I guess, like a web-based game. As you figure out all the different problems that arise as you do symbolic logic. And yeah, thanks again, of course, to Graham Leach Krauss and Jake Ehrlich, who have provided us this wonderful tool. And yeah. And again, please note who authored the practice problems I provide when I link to them in the descriptions of the videos, because I didn't always make the practice problems. In fact, most of the time I took them from other public documents on the carnap.io website. So, make sure that, you note who authored the problems I gave you or whose documents I got the problems from. And if you are interested, like way at the end of the course, there's some extra problems in the appendix of the textbook. They're only about stuff from the last few chapters. So you'll have to complete, all the lectures, all the chapters, whatever, before you go to the appendix problems. But if you still have an itch for logic after you've worked through all of this stuff and, you want more, there's a bit more in the appendix to the textbook. So make sure to check that out. Okay, so I guess that's all that you need to start learning logic with these videos that I've put together. So yeah, hopefully you have a good time, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. Thanks for watching.